It's part of our training program, and it's really not anything revolutionary. We get our salespeople, and it applies 6 unknowns in other places or 8 or 9, but definitely in the men's business, it's 7 unknowns. The things that you have to figure out and understand that a customer's looking for to make the sale. And the key part is
that is Kenny Rubenstein. He is the 3rd generation owner of Rubensteins in New Orleans, one of the iconic men's clothing stores in the United States, celebrating, get this, 100 years of history this coming April. Now, what he's talking about is how they survived all these years. Those 7 unknowns are the keys to their success. He's going to share those with you. He's also going to announce their brand new hotel called the Rubensteins Hotel. And that's going to be above their storefront on Canal Street, right in the heart of the city of New Orleans, next to the French Quarter. He's also going to share 2 more things with you that are critical to your business and any other business. Now, you're listening to the CloseTheDeal.com podcast. I'm your host, Ewell Smith, and we're talking with entrepreneurs and franchisors who share their journeys of success, overcoming challenges, all to guide you. Now, know this, sales and marketing are perishable skills, and that's why you're here, because you cannot run a business without those skills today, especially today. And if you've ever thought about having your own business and you want a playbook, this episode is being brought to you by yourfirstfranchise.com, yourfirstfranchise.com. Now, let's begin the show. Kenny, I want to welcome you to the CloseTheDeal.com podcast. You're based in New Orleans. A pleasure to be speaking with you because you're from such an iconic brand in New Orleans, but we will let people figure that out in just a second. What is your favorite restaurant? I'm curious, in this city to do business.
Oh, that's an easy one. That's a Chick-fil-A uptown. It's a place I know that I'm confident the food will be great, the service will be impeccable, and everybody will have a good time and be easy and open to my suggestions and decisions.
What's your favorite? Obviously, you got some favorite dishes there. What's your favorite dish? Is there one?
Yeah, I always like to try some of the specials because Chris, the chef, he's a genius and he comes up with great stuff. But memorable, he did a pork chop that was divine, and they still serve it on the menu most nights. He cooks it perfect.
There you go. All right. And this is going to be an interesting question, given your family legacy in the business. Who or what are you grateful for that helped you get you where you are today?
Oh, that's an easy one. First off, starting 100 years ago with my great uncle, Morris, he decided to get married. So he opened up a business, and so he'd have something to with his family. And then my grandfather joined him, and the other great uncle, and one was a great merchant, one was great with money, and another one was great with people. And so they worked as a great team to build this. And then eventually my father and uncle joined, and again, had a great merchant, great money man, and worked as a great team to build this up to what we have today, so that Alice and I have a great foundation to grow.
Absolutely. 100-year legacy in 2024, correct?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yeah. April 12th.
April 12th, 2024 for Rubensteins. And that is truly, for folks listening in from outside of New Orleans, this is one of the iconic brands in the city of New Orleans. A long-time legacy. And you're going to learn a little bit more about this business in a second. The question I have for you, and this is going to be an interesting question. Usually I ask, what is the problem you solve in the marketplace? An entrepreneur solves. But you all have been around for 100 years solving problems.
Lots of problems.
Is it a problem that you saw in the marketplace, or was it an opportunity that you all said, okay, we need to capture that?
Historically, there's been lots of, as you mentioned, challenges and things to overcome. Just to start with the fact that we had world wars, we couldn't get merchandise for men. We opened up women's. We at one point we bought way too many ties of the same exact thing, polka dots. We had a Prince of Wales, a special. He was coming into town, using things like that to just step to the next thing, to look at the next generation. Even my father and uncle opened up All American Jeans when jeans were a big thing. There's an opportunity, separate it, build that business. Eventually it came back into Rubensteins, and we have great jeans. All American Sportsman Shop when khaki pants were big. And so we have that history of seeing something and taking that next step and starting it somewhere to help build the business. So recently we have 6 buildings, 44,000 square feet. We used about 12,000 square feet of it. The rest was storage. And we see the city, it lacks for hotel rooms. We get visitors in all the time. So we realized we have this space and we need to make it active, and it would help both the city as well as ourselves to build a hotel there.
Before you get to the hotel piece, because that's really interesting, tell people a little bit of the history, of the rich history of Rubenstein's, the clothing business. Just snap a 30,000 foot view of it, so people understand the context of all this, because it's a natural progression to use this space for what I think you all see.
Yeah, we started, April 12th, 1924. As I said, my Uncle Morris opened a clothing store so he could have a business and a income to support his new family. And we went through lots of different things. As we grew, we didn't own the buildings. He saw the E4C buying each of these buildings and bought the 6 buildings together. My father and uncle came into the business. We saw challenges as you came to, as I mentioned, the wars. There was depressions. There was floods. Katrina's an excellent example. Katrina came. We gathered together. We said, this is something that's important. We got to reopen. 51 days later, after Katrina, we were the first store on Canal Street to open. And we felt that was important for the city to get people back in. And during recessions, we look at things. We have to get the economy started. We have to get people in buying. We looked at adding new things. The best $5.95 suits you could buy, to introduce that, to get some younger people in who need to start suits, start their clothing wardrobe. Back when my uncle was buying, he decided to bring Italian goods into the country. We were the first one to carry many a Gilles Dozenia in the States, in the entire country. And he saw this brand, something that they're doing special. We need to add it here. So it's something that sets you apart, gives you a little bit of that market uniqueness.
So you all, and this is what you all know. I mean, obviously, you've ebbed and flowed with the market, seeing trends coming your way, but you also have had such a high level of service as well. Yeah. That's self-sustained, you all doing this. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Part of it is the idea. This wasn't, someone once told me, we sell laundry.
Fancy laundry.
Exactly. Fancy laundry. But you got to look at that. And why is the customer come here? And it's basically partly the family business. People come here. Can be trite sometimes. You hear it a lot, but they're like family when they come here. We want them coming into our home when we feel comfortable. Have a drink, sit down, we talk, chat. We have customers who come by here sometimes not to shop, just to talk. And it's that atmosphere. We want the experience of coming in. Men particularly, they hate shopping. That's what I hear the most. Oh, I can't stand shopping. I hate going. We don't want that attitude. We want it to feel like you're just going to come in here and you got a little problem and we'll take care of it. We solve it. Now you're confident, and you're dressed well, and go out there. But we're friends. Our salespeople go to some of their clients' kids' birthday parties. They go to events. They get promoted. They take them out for drinks, things like that, to be their friends. That's the key. These are our friends, not just our clients.
And you think about how many clothing businesses have come and gone in the city, but it's the hospitality. That's what you're touching, and that's a great bridge for the business that you're about ready to go in. Talk about what y'all are working on now.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. This weekend, actually, I was at a meeting of stores, and we talked about hospitality, and really that we are in the hospitality business. It's just different perspectives. To expand to that, with all this empty space we had in our buildings and the need for rooms in this city, with all our visitors growing and growing each day, we decided to go into the hotel business and open up a great little 40-room boutique hotel above our store. Nothing like having the customers come to you right there and staying right above you. So it was an opportunity that was almost a no-brainer.
That lends itself to a lot of cross promotions too. Just that also builds on some long-standing relationships, because you're not just serving customers in New Orleans. You all have customers across the entire United States, overseas probably. I imagine.
Yeah, we always get asked how many our local customers or how many of our clients. And it's hard to judge for visitors, because we certainly have plenty of visitors. We're on Canal Street in St. Charles, the epicenter of everything that happened. And so we got lots of people coming in from out of town, but we have customers who fly in sometimes for events. They come every year from Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, what have you, and they come shopping. We also have clients just the other day flew from Houston to get some custom shirts, and he was flying back. That was literally came in just to shop with us. We also have customers who we send clothes to. We know their fits and everything, who don't live here, haven't stepped foot in the store in 10 years. We sell them plenty of clothes.
What influences would you say are carrying over from one hospitality business, because it's why you sustained, and it's why you've been here for so many years? What carried over toward the concept or the design or this level of service that you want to provide the hotel?
Part of it, the concept was, even in a sense, calling clients. We have a lot of out of town clients, and being able to say, hey, why don't you come in? We got a room for you. You come stay.
Nice.
You're right here. Make it easy. It all falls under that feeling like part of the family, our friends. It's the kind we do what we would do if we were talking to our friends, people we grew up with since childhood. They ask you for something, you do it. You make sure it happens.
Sure.
You solve those problems. Nothing can make it easier than having the ability to get here and have a room to stay in.
So you got 40 rooms. Is there a restaurant, or is it just the boutique, or y'all just focused on that? For people listening to the show, if you're not from New Orleans, you're right. You're steps from the French Quarter on the other side of the street. You've got restaurants wrapped around you. Are you all having a restaurant?
Plenty of restaurants, plenty of places to eat. It won't be full service. It'll be a hotel it won't have meeting rooms, hotel rooms, but we do have in the lobby the Madison Shop Bar, which is a nod to what we used to have, the Madison Shop, which was basically generational change. Kids didn't want to shop in their dad's store. We had a separate entrance, and that was the Madison Shop, and the kids could go in there to go shopping and not shop in their father's store. So we have a bar down there for the Madison Shop Bar, which is great. It's a great spot, great location, easy place to stop in, have a drink, move on.
Okay. And did you grow up working in the store? And so what age did you start helping out?
Oh, earliest I remember is about 8 years old. I would come in, help here, pretend to sell, talk to my dad would say, go show him a tie, pull out a tie. But yeah, pretty much if I wasn't in school, before it wasn't school day, I was here. Holidays, come in, work. Stockroom was most of the work, moving stock, checking stuff in, ticketing stuff. But yeah, I grew up around it all my life, and I loved it. I just loved the interaction with people. And that kind of extends to the hotel. The idea of I love the idea of meeting new people, seeing new people, having things change. Nothing is ever the same. No day goes by that is like another day around here. And similar in the hotel business. I actually, in college, trained in the hotel business a little bit with hospitality. So I have some of that experience. And it's really, the only difference is their hours are even worse than retail.
So you decided to jump into the fire.
Exactly. That was it.
So you go from college. When did you still work in business full time?
Part of our mandate is we like the next generation to work elsewhere before they come back and work in the store.
Good.
Have achievement outside. So I worked, of course, in retail. I worked in outside sales for a chemical company first. And then I worked for Neiman Marcus, Dillard's, and then Neiman Marcus, where I went through a training program. And then I came back here. So
yeah. Pick up some new insights on the competition too.
That's the idea.
And the skills.
And again, yeah. And for those who are from this area, for New Orleans, when I grew up, that was an issue. A lot of people didn't want to leave the city. They went to the schools nearby here. They didn't want to leave the state. And those that left the state didn't return. And to me, it's really important to go out there, learn something new, bring it back. You never know what it is that you'll find.
I agree. Now, to sustain a business like this, you all have the 7 unknowns of sales training.
Yeah.
So I talk about that because that's interesting, because that's part of the hospitality piece. When I went over the list of things that you all do, but all those factors play an important piece to the success that you all have that has sustained you for 100 years.
It's part of our training program, and it's really not anything revolutionary. We get our salespeople, and it applies 6 unknowns in other places, or 8 or 9, but definitely in the men's business, it's 7 unknowns. The things that you have to figure out and understand that a customer's looking for to make the sale. And the key part is it's you, the salesperson. It's your plan, not something the customer. You're trying to figure out the customer's needs by using the 7 unknowns. They're type, size, price, color, model, fabric, fit. You get those things down and you've got a sale.
So you're asking questions. You're getting to know the customer.
That's why we call it the unknowns, because it's those 7 things you don't know. When you find them out, you got it done.
Okay. Now, have you figured out what those are for the hotel guests yet?
Not quite. Been discussing that actually, trying to figure out what it falls along similar things. A lot of it though, in hotel, the customer's online looking at it. You're not selling them that room. It's once they're there, making sure they have the needs that they want. It's meeting needs, satisfying that customer.
Yes. Now, being in the clothing business, I got to ask you, what are the top tips that you have for anybody or for business fashion today? And what's the latest trend, or is there a trend that you see? Or is there something that you all just see that always is always good? Always good.
Yeah, well, first thing would be come see us. Use the valet parking and our stylists who can tell you or help you out, help you figure out what it is you want. But yeah, as a basic, you should always have a suit in your closet, whether it's a beautiful custom suit made to fit you perfectly or a starter suit. That's important. There's nothing better than putting a suit. You don't have to worry about coordinating, getting dressed up. You feel confident. You've had a success already in the day because you look good and you create a great first impression. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, judge. The reality is the human brain judges you by sight initially. Now, many people have come up with ways of overcoming that, but you need to look good when someone sees you, or look appropriate, I should say. And by looking appropriate, you're confident in what you're going to do. And that's the key.
Okay. Now, I keep ping-ponging back and forth between the hotel and this. And of course, you got your favorite restaurant. All these things tie together with the hospitality piece. What is the vision that you have for the hotel? And then what is the vision you have for the clothing?
Yeah. The vision, that's of course, a great question. The vision for the hotel, it's a partnership. And so we have our goal, obviously, is to build a brand there, the Rubenstein brand as a hotel, showing that experience and even building your confidence of having the right place to stay, all that good stuff. Hotel, like that's going to last another 50 years at least. So when we celebrate 150th year, we can have a nice celebration for that. But the store, it's all about, look, our main thing you could say throughout our store, I talk about experience, and I talk about building confidence and all that, but it's about change and embracing change. You have to see it. You have to know it's coming, and you have to be willing to take the risk to step forward through that change. And we have the challenges of technology and AI. We're always adopting new technology around here, but AI, what's going to happen there? How's that going to change purchasing patterns and the way customers need clothes or use clothes? You've got growth in this business. Just where is it? Is there new areas? Keeping ahead of that. I see other possible regional locations. There's just, there's opportunity to meet these people's needs in other places. Those are all things that are out there.
You know, the whole thing with AI, there's a lot of people who are fearful of it. I see lots of potential. Of course, I could see some crazy stuff happen with it. But I also see AI really playing into the hands of the hospitality industry. Because when people don't know what to believe is written, or at some point you're going to see videos that are just, you think it's real. Joe Rogan had a podcast that he thought it was himself, but it wasn't him. When people, if it gets to that degree and people don't know what to believe, in-person events, speaking events, hands-on service, caring for somebody face-to-face, that human-to-human touch, which is what you all have been in your entire 100 years of service. Now they're bringing it up to another layer of hospitality with the hotel. That, I think, is going to be key. Now, I also hear what you're saying regarding change. And in New Orleans, we know how to adapt to change, because if you didn't, we didn't survive after Katrina.
That's right.
And you're all in the clothing business, so you've seen the cycles go up and down. So you had that mindset to change right there. And then the vision going forward is creating that legacy, which is what y'all are working on. So let me ask you, are you all using up all the space for the hotel, or will that take care of everything?
Yeah, that's all the space that we have currently is occupied either by them or us. We're actually getting adjusted to how to deal with no place to put stuff. No storage.
You all have extra space.
But there is room. I mean, that you talked about the hotel. I mean, there's room for building more floors on this building and things like that. That is part of the vision for the hotel, is successful hotel, expand. I'd love to have a rooftop pool, a restaurant up there, that kind of thing. But that would be way down the road.
Okay. And opening for the hotel, when is that?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that. No. Let's say at least by December.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Most people ask me, I say tomorrow.
Okay.
And then the next day I say the same thing.
All right. You got a deadline on your head. It's going to force you to get there. This is great. I'm excited. I'm going to have to come by and visit the hotel.
Please do.
And again, it goes back to the legacy of your family running this business 100 years. That speaks volumes. And the way you all came back after Katrina speaks volumes too, because whenever there's a challenge, you all clearly ran to it. I saw it with the restaurateurs when I was with the seafood board work, and our top restaurateurs are the ones that ran toward the challenge, put everything on the line to get their businesses reopened so they could serve the people. That's what everything we've talked about today is service.
I'd like to add your point about AI and about coming back and all that. We did. As a family, we pulled together. We came together to build this back up. But you know what? It wouldn't happen. One of the key things, and you reference it in AI, trust and integrity. It's our family's trust and integrity that the community supported us, whether it was the New Orleans community who said, I had people calling from outside the city saying, I just want to buy something to help you out. Katrina, to our vendors who we've had relationships for 20 to 50, 60 years, who were like, whatever you need stuff for your employees, you need stuff for policemen, sending us stuff. Don't pay us until you can, whatever it was. So it was because they knew us, they had our trust, and we had our integrity, and they knew we were going to help those people out. So it wouldn't have happened without that. And that's the same thing if AI comes. People want to see that face to face, be able to get in there. And
I think AI is going to only make that much more important.
Yeah.
I really do. All right. Call to action. What's your call to action for folks listening?
Actually, come see us. Look, we do style sessions. You can sign up online. No purchases necessary. I always tell even my friends and people I've just met, there's no pressure. I want you to come see what we have to offer. If it's not for you, that's no problem. You come in, free valet parking out front, you pull up, offer you a drink. We'll show you what we got. We'll hear you. We'll listen to you and find out what it is your needs are. And if we can meet them, we'll take care of it for you.
Website? What's the website?
Yeah. Rubensteinsneworleans.com. It's our website. And on there, you can sign up for style sessions and see a lot of the vendors and things we have and read some more of our history.
And hotel information, where were they? Is that live yet, or is that going to go live?
It's not yet. It's not quite live yet.
Okay.
But yeah, we call it the Rubenstein Hotel, and you should be able to find it there.
Fantastic. Well, Kenny, this has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to come visit when y'all make the grand opening. And I wish you continued success, another 100 years. Get to the 50-year mark first with the hotel. We'll put a rooftop in the pool.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, we'll have a nice swim party. So I'm looking forward to it. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on and talking about our history. It's fun. We love to do that.
It's a legacy. There's no question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And that is a wrap with Kenny Rubenstein. I want to encourage you, if you're thinking about coming to New Orleans, check out the Rubensteins Hotel. Not only will you have an incredible experience there, you'll have an incredible shopping experience. And all the best of the best dining restaurants are within blocks of you. So you'll have one unbelievable trip to the city of New Orleans. Now, I want to thank you for being here. As usual, I'm very grateful as we keep growing this community. And you know the drill. Be intentional and make this a great day and make your next trip to New Orleans phenomenal. Stay at the Rubensteins Hotel.